Good morning, beloveds. Let me get my thoughts in order here. It's just cold and my brain is not working. It was 35 when I left the house this morning at 6:30. I went to meet with my trainer in his garage, which we had postponed from Monday, and I chose today instead of Friday because it was going to be 2 degrees warmer today than on Friday. And one of the things that he asked me to do, he asked me to use a kettlebell. And those things are made of metal. And it was cold. And it was hard because it was cold. So when I finished the first set, I set the kettlebell down in front of the heater. So the next two sets, when I got to the kettlebell part, the handle was warmer, and it made the move a whole lot easier. Because the move was a new one for me. I hadn't done it before, and so on top of learning how to do a new move with the kettlebell, I was dealing with a very cold piece of metal. So it's like challenges in life. But yeah, so that was my morning. It was very cold, but I got through the workout, and there were times that I was like, oh, I found the warm spot in the garage. So, and in the summer, you find the cool spot. Go figure. But it is January 12th. And our title is I Know the Active Power of God. So, one God and Father of all, who is above all and through all and in you all. And that is from Ephesians 4:6. Okay. The key thought for our meditation today is the idea that there is an active presence of the creative spirit in all our affairs. Not something passive, but something that is moving in and through everything we do. We should affirm that this divine presence is everywhere, that it is always active in, around, and through us. Believing that the Spirit is at the center of everything and at the very center of my own physical being, I recognize this presence harmoniously acting in every cell, every organ, and every function of my physical body. I praise my body temple, bless it, and know that every activity within it is in harmony with divine life. One mind governs everything, and I now affirm that I accept this same intelligence. I accept that this same intelligence governs my affairs. It is within me and around me at all times, directing, guiding, governing, controlling, and leading me happily to the fulfillment of all good purposes. I salute the God presence in everyone I meet, and I know that as surely as I do this, the love dwelling in them responds to the same presence that is within me. We act in a unison of peace and understanding, recognizing all of nature as the handiwork of God. I see the beauty of his activity in everything, in the wind and in the wave, in the sunshine and cloud, and in everything that God has created. All right. So that may be one of the keys how we know that this was all of these writings are from Ernest, but Ernest didn't sit down and write this book. Somebody, an editor, selected all of these readings and put them on, because in December we were doing lessons, and then in this one he just said meditation. Which should also tell you that Ernest has an amazing body of work out there to draw from, which is really amazing. So, and the title is I know the active power of God. And I think that's one of the things that it's one of the things that we focus on in Science of Mind. It's like there are all these ideas of God, and we're like, okay, no, God is an active participant in your life, an active partner in your life. And the more that you act as if, the more response you are going to get from that active partner. He's a silent partner, or it is a silent partner, but it is active. It's like Spirit didn't just put up the money and run. Spirit, put up the money, and then it is active and willing when we come to Spirit to guide and to do all of that. It's our job to go to go to our partner and say, okay, I'm not so sure about this. Help me out here. Or, okay, this is what I want to do, but I need more power to do this, or whatever it is that power is just the first word that came to my mind. But so Spirit is the silent partner, but the active partner, but it is the partner that we have to go to and say, this is what I need, or this is what I want, or this is what I desire. It is not a partner that is going to anticipate our needs. And that's free will. And that's free will. That is why our partner, our silent partner, does not anticipate our needs, because that wouldn't be free. That's why when we have needs, we go to Spirit and say, these are my needs. And then Spirit works to fulfill them through us. Yeah. Okay. I hope that made sense. Okay. So one God and Father of all, who is above all and through all and in you all, from Ephesians. So if there's any question of where Ernest was getting his ideas, he wasn't making this up out of whole cloth. He had a basis. He was a very good Bible scholar. He just randomly quotes him, and he doesn't tell you where he got it from, and you're like, oh no, that's a Bible quote. I know that. And it definitely informed the way he prayed, the way he treated, the way he meditated, and just how he lived his life. There are at least 3 good biographies on Ernest Holmes, if you have any interest in those. Okay, so the key thought for our meditation today is the idea that there is an active presence of the creative Spirit in all of our affairs. Not something passive, but something that is moving in and through everything we do. That's what I'm talking about. It may be a silent partner, and it may be a partner we go to, but the partner definitely participates. Spirit participates, which is one of the reasons why we say that we are Spirit having an experience of itself. We should affirm that this divine presence is everywhere, that it is always active in, around, and through us. We're just telling ourselves the truth, and we're telling ourselves the truth with the capital T. There's nothing but Spirit. Everything is Spirit, and it is active around us. It is not passive. Believing that the Spirit is at the center of everything and at the very center of my own physical being, I recognize this presence harmoniously acting in every cell, every organ, and every function of my physical body. Okay, so if you are working on something, if you are working on healing or strengthening or conditioning or just, taking care of yourself in general, then this is one of the things that you want to do. You want to believe that the Spirit is at the center of everything and the very center of your own physical being. And therefore, we recognize that the Spirit is harmoniously acting in every cell, every organ, and every function of that body. So it's like, okay, my knee which by the way is a lot better, but I want to recognize that is my knee, is the Spirit is functioning through my knee. I want to recognize that. And I want to focus my attention and I want to focus my spiritual power on my knee and say, okay, you are working good, but you could work better. And because you are spirit, you have the power to do that. I praise my body temple, bless it, and know that every activity within it is in harmony with the divine life. Everybody works better when they're praised. So why not praise your body? We spend a whole lot of time negative self-talking our body for a variety of reasons. But if we loved on it, it would work better because it would respond to that positive. We would respond. It's like our cells are listening when we talk. So when it's, I forget who said it, but it's like when you say you can't, you're right. And when you say you can, you're right. And sometimes the can is in the future and you're working towards that, but your body is listening, your cells are listening, your spirit is listening. Be mindful of your self-talk because you are talking to the universe. One mind governs everything, and I now affirm and accept that the same intelligence governs my affairs. It is within me and around me at all times, directing, guiding, governing, controlling, and leading me happily to the fulfillment of all good purposes. Okay, I admit I blinked a little bit at the controlling. That kind of goes against that whole free will statement, but the language has changed a little bit. We are recognizing that we are spirit, and that spirit is an active participant in our lives, and that we can go to spirit for what we need, and that spirit will guide us and give us what we need to do what we want. And leading me happily to the fulfillment of all good purposes. There are rules, and the rules are that we are doing, that's why he says all good purposes. So basically, as long as we are following the rules, the nature of spirit, the nature of God, and I've listed them, and I will continue to list them, and some days I use all of the words, and some days. So, what are the rules? What is within the nature of God? And that is love, creativity, harmony, joy, passion, peace, calmness, creativity, unity. I may be repeating myself now. So those are all good purposes. So when we are working within the nature of spirit, spirit is going to give us everything we need to do it. When we are working at cross purposes, which is the opposite of any of the words that I just used, we're still gonna have the power. It's just not gonna work as easily. It's like, you want the most power? Work within the rules. Work within the nature of spirit. There was an example of how, it's like with electricity. When it is flowing along a cord that is undamaged and unblemished, it goes right to where it's supposed to do. It does exactly. It lights the lamp. But if the cord is damaged, then and the electricity starts kind of sparking out that way, the lamp doesn't light the way it should. It might light, but it'll flicker. So it's like, that's what I mean. It's like, no. Within the nature of. Okay, I salute the God presence in everyone I meet. And I know that as surely as I do this, the love dwelling in them responds to the same presence that is within me. When you meet someone and you look at them and you see God looking back at you, then the God looking back at you is what is responding to you. They may not be aware of it, but you are. And it changes the way you interact with people. We act in a unison of peace and understanding. Recognizing that's about holding space for somebody to do It's holding space for someone so that they can come to know who they are. Frequently, our bad behavior is simply because we've forgotten who we are. We have forgotten that we are beloved children of God. And so sometimes the best thing we can do for people is to hold that space for them. I can hold the space for you to know you are a beloved child of God. That does not mean I have to be within touching distance of you. I can do it from over here. So if you are in a situation where you are not healthy for me to be around, I will still know that you are a child of God. I'm just going to do it from a safe space. So remember that when you are dealing with people who have forgotten who they are, hold the space for them to remember who they are. But you are welcome to do it from a safe space. Recognizing all of nature as the handiwork of God, I see the beauty of his activity in everything. In the wind and the wave, in the sunshine and the cloud, and in everything that God has created. And frankly, God has created everything except for the mess. That's our own doing. So I think that our mission today, should we choose to accept it, a couple weeks ago on Sunday, Jesse gave us a mission where he said, look for the light. Look for the light around you. And then last week, the mission was, look for the light within. And so our mission today, should we choose to accept it, is exactly that, is to look around us and see the handiwork of God. And anywhere that you look that is beautiful, it's easy to see the handiwork of God. Now try to look at the places that are not beautiful and see underneath them. See the God idea underneath them, and help to, as you begin to recognize it, it helps to uncover all of the nonsense that we have put on top of it. And see if that doesn't change the way you move through the world. To look for the handiwork of God. Look for the beauty. Look for the underpinning. And ignore the mortal coil. And ignore the mortal mess. And look for God's idea. All right. That is January 13th. That is our meditation for today. As always, I remind you to do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself today and every day. There is never a day that you do not deserve kindness, compassion, and love from yourself. There's never a day. You are a beloved child of Spirit, in whom Spirit is well pleased. That is the state of grace that we live in. We are children of God, and we should act like it. And the more often we can do it, the faster it will become our default setting. So, open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you that you do live in heaven now. Allow that breath of heaven to brush away the mortal nonsense so that you can see the handiwork of God around you. And, do something to engage your mind and your body today. It may not be opening windows. It may be too cold for that, but every cell, every organ, it's all God. So recognize that body temple and take care of it. And whatever that looks like to you. And it does not mean you have to go run a marathon. I certainly do not intend to do that. But do something that engages it. Because it's what carries you out to do your spiritual work. So, Reverend David will be on with you around 5 p.m. today. I believe it's Wednesday, which means the Living the Science of Mind book study is at 6. That is a Zoom, I believe, so check your emails if you want to get that link and click the link to get that link. It's a wonderful book. Like I said, Ernest Holmes has an amazing body of work, And then I will be back with you at 9 a.m. right here on Facebook Live. All right, beloveds, have a wonderful day.